I look like a wet dog. I just got out of the shower. I had to shower because I wanted the bathroom to be completely dry by the time I have to go up there and do the base cabinets and the drawers. Because I am chalk painting my master bathroom vanity. It's pretty much the only thing left in my house besides a tiny little cabinet in the laundry room that is needed to be chalk painted as far as cabinets go. As you might know, I shared in my last live video that we are getting our doors and our trim painted white here in the next few weeks, so I wanted to finish up this project before that starts because I don't want any honey oak left if everything else is going to be white. So if you follow my Instagram stories, I shared that I'm chalk painting a couple different pieces, and I've been getting tons of questions on what it is and how to do it. So I figured I got 2 doors right here that I'm going to do, and I figured I'd just pop on live if anybody wants to check it out. But first I'll show you what I've been up to. Let me turn this around. So I have this mirror. I'm just scraping off the chalk on the mirror now. But this was just 2 coats, and then I distressed it this morning. And then I'll put a coat of wax or something over it, and that one will be done. This is a cool frame I found at Goodwill. I'm going to bust this picture out and put chicken wire there for Sydney to hang her little hair bows on. And then this bed, these are actually the backs, but this actually used to be John's when he was a little boy. So it was completely free, and it was dark oak, so I chalk painted it, just 2 coats. And then I went over this morning, and as you can see, I just distressed it and made it, I gotta dust it off still, antiqued it a bit. I have to put wax on there still, and that'll be done. And then this is a cabinet in my bathroom I was talking about that I just did 1 coat of. So this is a chalk paint that I use. It's Annie Sloan. I use pretty much everything in my house is either French linen or over there that's old white. I do have a Annie Sloan brush. It is super helpful for things like spindles, and it does help you save paint. So, for example, I'll show you everything I just showed you, plus the base of this cabinet upstairs. So I've done a lot, like that whole bed, the whole frame, that one little vanity in our laundry room, and pretty much everything was 2 coats, and that's all I've used. So this stuff goes a really long way. So, and I think each one is, well, 38 bucks. So they're expensive, but they really do go a super long way. So these I've done 1 coat on, and as you can see, it looks super scary when you first do a coat. You're like, oh my gosh, what did I do? It's super uneven, and it kind of freaks me out at first, but trust me, as you get going and you put a couple more coats on, it looks flawless, like everything else I've just showed you. And I will not distress these like I showed you guys. I distressed that frame and the bed frame. I'll leave these completely solid white to match our door and our trim. So you can distress it or you can leave it solid. It's completely up to you. So that's what 1 coat looks like. No sanding, no prepping, nothing. All I did was just wipe down the cat hair and the dirt. I took off the hardware. And as you can see on the back, I'm not doing this for resale. I'm doing this just for personal preference. So I did not take the hinges off. I just got them full of paint because no one's going to see that. If you are doing something like this for resale, I would recommend taking the extra step to take the hinges off. But, you know, I don't really care if the hinges have paint. So that's what 1 coat looks like. I will put probably 2 more coats on that just because I want it solid. For things like when I distress things, I usually only do 2 coats because it doesn't really matter if it's perfectly smooth underneath because you're going to distress it anyways. So I'm going to flip this back and I'll show you guys just kind of how it goes on, because so many people are like, you don't have to sand it down, you don't, like, are you sure? What do I do? I'm like, you guys, just put the freaking paintbrush in the can and put the paintbrush on the door. That's it. Easy peasy. So I already wiped these down, and my doors do have a lot of grooves in them, so if you do have like paneling or anything like that, here's kind of the steps that I do. I first do the inside, and then I go the outer edges, and then I go around the last bit. Now, I am no professional, but that's what I've done in every other cabinet in my house. So this is a Annie Sloan brush I told you I had that I'm going to be using for this. It does help. It's a brand new can of paint, so it shouldn't be thick at all now. But for example, when I do my second coat on the white doors, I will just sprinkle a couple teeny tiny drops of water on my brush and then dip it in the paint and then go over with my second coat. And that helps because, let me flip. When you are doing your second coat, this is chalk paint, you guys, so it's like chalk dust. So for example, that's why all that dust is on the mirror, because it's when you sand it off and you distress it, it becomes like a chalk powder, right? So I can fix it later, but like, look, I just scratched it off. So this doesn't cure to the wood until you put a coat of poly or wax on it, whatever you prefer. I personally do a lot of poly on my cabinets just because I like it to be super rock solid. Wax, I do things like frames and mirrors and things that don't get a ton of traffic. I'll just fix that by putting a little more paint over it. Yada, yada, bada bing, bada boom, I'm done. Right? Scratch fixed. So I don't want you guys to be afraid to screw chalk painting up. You really can't screw it up. But it's just, you do have to be careful in the first few coats because it hasn't cured yet, so it will lift off like that if you are too harsh with it. So that's why multiple light coats with any sort of painting, multiple light coats is better than one heavy coat. So here's my gray. It's a really pretty French linen gray. And I will just show you, I won't make you watch this whole darn thing, but for those, this is just going to be for those people that have been asking me, they can watch. So I just start in the middle, like I said. And the first coat is super scary, like I showed you. It looks horrendous. But don't fret. It will be beautiful in the end, I promise you. The other sweet thing about chalk painting is that it dries so fast that you can really get a whole cabinet done in one day. So the white doors that I've been showing you guys on this video, I just did those maybe 20 minutes ago and they're already dry. So after I'm done filming this video, I will go put the second coat back on those and then wait a little bit after dinner, put a third coat on, and I could even probably poly tonight if I wanted. Otherwise tomorrow. So it's super quick to do a whole project, so you feel very accomplished, which I love. It's efficient, and I don't know, I love chalk painting. Those of you that have been following me for a while know that I've done my kitchen cabinets. When we first moved in, that was the very first thing I did. They're kind of almost black, and that was before I convinced my husband how amazing chalk painting is. He was a big, you can't paint wood kind of guy, and did not want me to paint them. So I listened, and I wanted to dye. I stained them. And when you stain wood that's finished with a poly or whatever, you do have to do the appropriate steps and sand and prep, and it was pretty much like a 4-week job. It was very hard work, and if I would have just chalk painted them, I probably could have got it done in like a week. And it would have looked the exact same, and it would have held up the exact same. Every cabinet in my house that I've chalk painted has held up up amazingly well. I don't have nicks, I don't have scrapes, I don't have none of that. I mean, you would think that I bought it that way. I can't see questions while I'm, oh wait, I can. Hope, did you sand these down at all? No, I talk about that in the very beginning of the video. So if you want to go back and check out the beginning, that's a sweet thing about chalk paint. You don't have to do any prepping other than washing down germy hands and cat hair or whatever you got going on at your house before. So, and make sure you do, I will tell you with the wiping down piece, do not use like Clorox wipes or anything like that, because the chemicals in that will cause it to not stick. The paint will be super uneven. So there is the first coat. It's a super pretty light gray once it's all done. And then there's the white, first coat of the white. So I'll finish posting my progress on my Instagram stories and my Facebook stories for those of you that want to see the finished product. If it's helpful for you guys, I can go live when I do the wax or the poly top coat to show you kind of how that goes. Let's see. Emily, where did I get the paint and brush? You can Google Annie Sloan and figure out where she is in your area, like where she sells her products. I personally buy mine at Knick Knack Paddywhack in Anoka. And Emily knows I'm in Minnesota here, so that's where I buy all my chalk paint. It's an amazing, cute little store. But yeah, I hope that's helpful for you guys that have been asking questions about chalk painting. Okay, I can totally go live for the waxing portion and the poly portion to show you guys the finished product. So if that's helpful, let me know. If you have any more questions, I'm happy to help. But it's really, you guys, it's idiot proof. You can't screw up chalk painting. Just go for it. Like I said, get your paintbrush wet and put it on the door. You can almost wash it off if you have to, honestly. And you can even wash it out of your clothes, which is super nice because it's water-based. So, all right, guys, have fun. I hope you're having a great weekend.